It's game on, game on, go strong, game on, game on.
It's Game On. Presented by Spectrum Sports.
And a very pleasant good evening from the Stan Sheriff Center in Manoa, where tonight the 20th ranked Rainbow Wahine hope to keep the good times rolling as they take on the Black Knights of Army. And this is Game On, presented by Spectrum Sports for Rainbow Wahine Volleyball.
You get 4 years, some of you guys only get 3. Some of you only get 2, some of you just did last year. So you gotta, that court right there is special. And you have to literally, whenever you step on that court, do the best you can. Because you're not gonna get it back. When girls leave, they're like, oh, I miss it. Like, okay. So every time you get a chance to play on this court, use it. Like, don't waste it.
Well, that's Robin Amo talking a bit about what she told her team in the tunnel last Saturday night after falling behind to St. John's 2-1. At least that was part of what she said. It worked. Hawaii went on to win in 5. Of course, the next night, beating number 13, Washington, in 4. Scott Robbs, Lisa Strand, Ryan Kalei Suji. Glad you could join us on this Thursday night. Hawaii off to a 3-0 start. 2 of those wins against nationally ranked teams last week. We talked to the team, and they reflected on their accomplishment.
We came in double days and everything, like this is our year to put the state, put our names, like ourselves, like on the map, like be nationally ranked, win the natty, like go all the way. So like we were coming to this tournament expecting to be champions, and then when we did it, it was like, oh my God, we did it, yeah, we did it, like we really got it.
Our team, is super competitive and everyone's gonna come in here to win. And so just coming with that attitude, like anything's possible if we just, do our player cards right.
I wasn't expecting a 4-setter like for Washington. I thought we were gonna probably go a little longer because they're a good team. They're ranked number 13 in the country. So I was expecting maybe a longer battle, but I think we just started off really well. So I think that's what gave us the push.
I just think the team showed a lot of heart, a lot of character, and we definitely know what they're capable of, but for them to come out like this, the first weekend, playing together as a team, that was great.
It's good to be 3-0, but it's not about being 3-0. It's literally about the girls getting better at each game, and that's what they did this weekend.
Time now to step on the scales. Let's weigh in. It is brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. All right, guys, prior to last weekend, the last time Hawaii had beaten a ranked non-conference opponent was in the NCAA tournament against Penn State in 2015. They knocked off 2 ranked opponents last week. What does it mean?
Well, it's pretty darn huge. You must admit they come in unranked and kind of the underdog, if you will, even in their opening season. But the coaching staff has done such a phenomenal job, and the energy on this team is very contagious. And I think the bottom line is, according to Coach Robin Amo, is that they listened. They believe in the training, they trust in one another, and they're giving it their all. They have expectations just to do the best they can every time out.
Well, I think there were a lot of question marks heading into last weekend's matchup, a lot of newcomers, a lot of new faces to this Wahine team. And I think some of those question marks were answered. I still do think, however, that this is a team that's still quite finding themselves. I think it's way too early to say that this is a team that's going to contend for a national championship. They still have things that they are working on. There are still things in transition that they need to improve on. I think the thing we saw last week is that they do have depth and that they do have options coming off the bench. So there's a lot of questions that were answered, but there's still a lot more that remain.
Yeah, I think there's no question about that. But one thing that was established last week is Jolie Rasmussen is going to be the go-to player for the Rainbow Wahine. The transfer from Oregon was not only named the Big West Conference Player of the Week, she was named the National Player of the Week, and she really made an impact in all 3 matches.
Great athlete, great volleyball player. And as you can see in this last game against UW, she was, her energy level was like off the charts. I told her though, the first day she was like on a high, and then the second was like, where is she at? Is she on the court? Is she not on the court? And then I told her, I said, hey, go back and look at both games. Look at your first game and then look at the second one. You gotta match that intensity. If you bring that intensity in the first match, it doesn't matter if you're like playing good or not playing good, but if you match that intensity, you know, of the first match. On the second, we go home earlier. So tonight, that's what you have to do. You have to find that from the first night. Go back and look at your energy level and, you know, how you were on the court and match that, or even make it even better for the third night.
Well, let's take a look at Jolie and what she did last weekend. 3.93 kills per set, hit 347, contributed in digs, blocks, and of course, even threw in a service ace. We talked to her after night one against San Diego. And, you know, she talked about so much the piece she was at, having made the transition from Oregon to Hawaii, and also the fact that she's finally healthy.
That's exactly it. This young lady, the redshirt junior that transferred here, has a lot of adversity. She was injured, wasn't able to contribute as much as she's like. But what you can get out of this young player, immediate impact player, all 6 rotations, and she's been phenomenal, good energy, as well as just a true team player. She's constantly encouraging players around her and motivating others and giving credit to everybody else on the team.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that has really helped this team is just her energy and her celebrations. I mean, she could maybe be a cheerleader the way that she goes at it, and some of her celebrations have more intensity than the actual play itself. I think those are the types of things that this team needs, and we know from head coach Robin Amo the fact that she enjoys those types of players. She wants players to celebrate. She wants to see that emotion out of her players. So Jolie is really setting the gauge, not only what she's contributing with the offensive numbers and the blocking numbers that she's putting up, but this reigning national player of the week is proving to be an emotional leader as well.
What do you guys prefer, a player that shows a lot of emotion, or one of those that, you know, typically the Wahine aren't known as a team that does that? Or there one like her, or someone that's more subdued? What do you like better?
Well, I like the communication, and I like that it's feeding off into the others. It's kind of following it. It's contagious, if you will. I think you have certain players that will play like her style of ball, and you have others that will just play by example.
I think no matter what, regardless, you want it to be genuine. You don't want to come across as someone that's not that type of player, but that you force it. Whatever their personality dictates, all in all, though, you need to be able to communicate to your teammates in order to have an effective outcome.
Well, 2 of the most genuine guys I know will be calling tonight's match. Let's go courtside to Kanoa and Chris. Guys?
Thanks a lot, Scott. Yeah, Kanoa Leahy next to Chris McLaughlin and C-Mac. We heard from the corner crew a little reaction to what Hawaii put on display last weekend. Now that we have an opportunity heading here into week number 2, what do you recall? What did you take away? What stood out the most to you from week 1?
It was the best week 1 I've seen in a long time. Anytime you knock off 2 ranked programs like San Diego and Washington, that's huge. Especially the one against Washington was just unprecedented. I told a lot of my friends, I said, you know, that was actually as big as the win over Texas when Texas was number 1. It was that big and that unexpected, that surprising. And the girls just played so well and so deserving of everything they got. And how about the accolades for Rasmussen? Yeah. Holy moly, Jolie.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And so now things transition. This is a new challenge for Robin Amo and this coaching staff of warding off that feeling of self-satisfaction, right? Feeling of complacency. It's easy to get up, even if you've had 2 previous nights of 5-set volleyball. It's easy to get up for Washington. What about how this team gets up for this weekend against teams that have positive records for sure, but certainly aren't the Washington Huskies?
Yeah, I heard Robin tell the team yesterday, hey, listen, if you guys get complacent at all, you're going to come sit next to me, or something to that effect. If anybody's going to keep them from getting complacent, it's going to be Robin Amo. She knows how to get all the players on the court all the time. And if somebody's not playing well, she's unafraid to pull them back, have them sit next to her until they get their act together and want to get out there and play with a lot of energy. Robin looks for that energy, looks for that positivity. The players that are playing, you know, with as if they're a sense of urgency, she called it, I think.
Yeah, nobody can chop them down quite like Robin Amo, I think, in this kind of situation. The first opponent up here this weekend, the Army Black Knights. They come out of the Patriot League. They had a positive weekend as well to open the season. Went 3-0 last week in their own Army Invitational. There you see head coach Alma Kovaci Lee in her 10th season atop this program. What can Hawaii anticipate? What does Army need to do to make this match?
Well, from what I saw in practice, Army ran a pretty fast offense. We've got a couple good outside hitters. They've also got a couple of local girls that are playing that I thought makes the match a little bit more interesting when you got 2 local girls. And so I think that Army's got to serve tough more than anything else and try to get Hawaii setting the ball from behind the 3-meter line. That's their most important thing I've got to do tonight, in my opinion.
Hawaii obviously played a stellar match against Washington, but if there's an area that you would like to see this Hawaii team focus on in particular to start this week, what would it be?
I would say improvement in their offense. I think if they continue to run the same offense that they're doing right now, the untraditional and non-traditional, no liberos playing, but 5 attackers all the time. If they can get those 2 back row attackers attacking at the same time the 3 front row attackers are attacking, that's going to be a nightmare for any team in the country that's playing them.
Well, you got 2 3-0 teams about to take the Terraflex here at the SSC to open this weekend's tournament. We'll have first serve for you in a little bit, but first let's send it back over to the corner crew.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. A reminder, get the greatest plays, hardest hits, and schedule info by following Spec Sports High on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. When we return, we'll talk a bit about the top 25 and the outstanding blocking of UH. All right, let's take a walk down the concourse of the Stan Sheriff Center. Fans beginning to fill in as nationally ranked Hawaii takes on the Golden Knights of Army. Well, it's been a while, but the Rainbow Wahine are back in the rankings.
Our team's reaction was, oh my God, yeah, like we earned it. Like we worked so hard in camp, off season, even in spring for this moment and for many moments like this to come. And our reaction at first was like, yes, excited, but then it was like, all right, we have another game coming next week. This is not it. We didn't just win a natty, but we did win a championship, but there's many more to come. So now the team is what we call, we even named our group chat, Humble and Hungry.
Everyone was freaking out. Not that we didn't believe that we could, but it was just like, oh wow, okay, let's go, let's keep going, let's get higher and higher.
We have a Hawaii group chat, like volleyball. We have a group chat and we put everything in it. Oh my gosh, we're number 20. They're like, just keep going up. Obviously, it doesn't just stop there. We have to keep going up. We always remind ourselves that. Today, she's probably gonna remind us that in practice, to stay humble and things like that.
Hopefully, and I'm gonna tell the girls today, I actually texted them already. I was like, okay, hopefully you guys didn't look at the polls already. And it's like, oh, we're ranked 20. I keep telling them you gotta stay humble. You still gotta stay humble and you gotta work hard.
Well, we know we're gonna face 3 good teams. And we just proved this last week that ranking doesn't mean anything. So we were not ranked this week, we beat 2 ranked teams. So we have respect for every opponent on the other side of the net.
Good points by Angela right there. Last time Hawaii nationally ranked, by the way, the 2017 preseason poll. There you see the top 10 Stanford defending national champions still remain at number 1. 11 through 20, you see Hawaii checking in at number 20. Washington only dropped 3 spots to number 16. Baylor in at 17. Hawaii will be in Waco in 2 weeks. And rounding out the top 25, Tennessee, Florida State, Creighton, Louisville, and San Diego. Well, one of the reasons why the University of Hawaii returned to the rankings was their blocking. Their blocking was outstanding in all 3 matches.
Just applying ourselves more, going the extra inch as far as blocking. I mean, it can be so little as just dropping that one hand to get that touch or get even the block, So I think going the extra inch and pushing ourselves even more. So in off season, we would get extra reps, watching more film, taking things, literally breaking it down to the feet, to the way we think, to the way we carry ourselves on the net. So I think in off-season we just broke down blocking to get a better understanding on how to better ourselves.
It's not easy to block. I would say it's probably one of the hardest skills on the volleyball court. You gotta have the right location, the right timing, you gotta have footwork, you gotta have hands. There's a lot of components to blocking. And we have worked really, really hard at it. So it was really nice to see that come together. And I wanna say more than anything, I think we finally saw them being aggressive as blockers, which we want them to be. It's an aggressive skill. You can't be a passive blocker.
Time now for everybody's favorite game show, Pick a Number. And it's brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Our contestants this evening for Pick a Number are Lisa and Ryan. Ladies always go first. Hawaii, by the way, averaging 3.5 blocks per set, over under that mark.
I'm going to say over. Last weekend, they started with 15 blocks the first night, went to 16 the second night, went to 18 against UW. And I think against the opponent tonight, I think that they're going to have more blocks. That's my prediction.
So the number you're picking is 4.0. I'm
Yes.
going to go with 3.2 is my number. I think that this is a team that has obviously really worked hard on their blocking in the offseason. I just don't know that they're going to get as many attempts for the blocking based on the person on the other side of the net. I think they'll get a lot of great touches. I'm not just sure that it's going to equate to actual blocks. So I'm going to go with 3.2, a little below their average, and we'll see what happens after this.
What made Hawaii's blocking so good last week?
Well, according to Coach Angelica, they were aggressive blockers, and they've worked very, very hard on it. They've done the little things, if you will. And one of the biggest things that I noticed was what we call the post blocker, the outside hitters setting up the block correctly so the middles would get out close and aggressively block the ball.
All right, we'll see if Hawaii can get those numbers up again tonight against the Black Knights of Army. We'll talk about the matchup when we return. You're watching Game On. And we're inside the Stan Sheriff Center getting ready a few moments away. Army and the University of Hawaii. Let's take a look now at the statistical leaders for Army West Point Black Knights.
Well, these players are their go-to players, but I really want to bring out and note that there's two local girls that have come home to play. Anna Ogilvy, the libero for the team, as well as Nikki Lum, the setter. And I know that it has been their dream to come home and play here, and that's really, I think, their family and fans will be rooting for tonight.
And you're looking at those numbers as we continue to take a look at Hawaii's stat leaders. 3 players that have really helped to carry the offensive load for this team already. All 3 new players to this squad this year. You see the numbers on Rasmussen. Again, the reigning ABC National Player of the Week. Hannah Helvig, who had a standout matches last week as only a freshman. And Brooke Pensickle, who kind of had an up and down weekend. We'll see if she can be a little bit more consistent heading into week number 2.
Now both teams come in 3-0. You look at the stat comparisons, and the competition was different, but Army played well against who they played a week ago.
Well, definitely. They just won their own hosted tournament. They were 3-0 coming in. They are. The numbers, as we know, with national rankings and comparisons with numbers, really don't say much now, do they?
Yeah, and I think if you look at Hawaii's numbers and you compare that to the types of teams that they played, Hawaii's numbers looking exceptionally well. This is an Army team that runs a faster offense, so Hawaii's blockers have got to be prepared. If Army is in system, they could pose some trouble for the Wahine.
Well, you see they had 28 service aces, so, I mean, sometimes it does matter who you play, but that tells you at least they serve pretty tough, you would think.
They're a very tough serving team. Watching them warm up just right here behind us, they're serving jump floaters that are floating deep and dropping quickly.
What do you want to see Hawaii improve on if they can after last week?
Yeah,
what are some of the
sure.
things?
There's a lot of things I think this Hawaii team can improve on. One of the things is their transition game. Far too many times Hawaii failed to score and utilize free ball opportunities or simple plays where they're getting nice touches on the block. Their offense in transition has got to be a lot crisper heading into week number 2.
And I agree with Chris McLaughlin. It'd be really great to see them take more balls, have all 5 players attacking, and especially from the back row, from the back.
It's human nature to not be as fired up for an Army as you were for Washington. And Robin made that point, saying it's up to these players. They're going to have to find a way to get themselves up. They can't just level out. They've got to stay up regardless of the opponent.
Yeah, and Hawaii is in new territory. None of these players have ever experienced being 3-0, being nationally ranked. We'll see how they handle that kind of pressure.
Exactly, and it's all about what they can do, and if they can keep it steady and keep their foot on the gas, play at the same level that they left the court last weekend.
Well, Hawaii's going to look to make it 4-0. Army, they'd like to be 4-0 as well. We got ourselves a good one on a Thursday night here at the Stan Sheriff Center. Hawaii and Army. Kanoa and Chris will have the call. The 3 of us will be back when this one's POW. Enjoy.
And with that, we welcome you inside the Stan Sheriff Center for night 1 of the Heineken Rainbow Wahine Invitational. Kanoa Leahy alongside Chris McLaughlin. C-Mac, take us through the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match.
For Army, it's all hands on deck. They need all players to have career games to keep up with these hot for Rainbow Wahine. And for Hawaii, they got to play like the team of the week. That's a quote that Jolie Rasmussen gave to the press last week. She said she wanted the team to get the national award, not her.
She indeed did get the national award to go along with the Big West Player of the Week. And that accompanied her Hawaiian Airlines Rainbow Wahine Classic MVP honor. But starting things up here, week 2 for Hawaii, and it's Rasmussen's first swing is a hot one, but a great dig. And this Army team can play some defense for sure. Right side set goes to Brooke Van Sickle. That one is dug up. So Army goes high and away. And the swing by Ali Strong is dug up by Rasmussen. Here's Hannah Helvig. That's dug up. So Army playing it back. Strong. Too strong on that one. Was there a touch? Yes, there was. And so Army strikes first here after a long point in set number 1. The Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineups scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Hawaii once again running that unorthodox 6-2 no libero system as Helvig gets Hawaii on the board with her second swing.
Kano, how about that first rally? Went back and forth the net several times, showing that this Army team can play some back row defense, to be sure. That's the one category they lead Hawaii in. Digs per set. They showed why just then.
Yeah, almost 15 digs per set, 14.9 to be exact. Backside set, this goes to the southpaw Morris. Sydney Morris is dug up. Back row set goes to Rasmussen. And again, Army able to play it back. Free chance here for Hawaii. You'll see it. Outside Helvig got to set a little low, so she had to take something up. Sailor Butters with the diving save there, and then the roll shot is down off the palm of Sydney Morris, the 6-foot senior from San Antonio.
Once again, balls are getting popped up in the back row that Hawaii did not see get popped up last weekend.
2 3-0 teams taking the floor here this evening. Both tournament winners from a week ago. Outside, Strong off the block and out. So a positive start here for the Army Black Knights as they're up 3 serving 1.
Yeah, their coach, Alma Lee, was very confident about how well the team could do because they're led by so much strong senior leadership. 4 of them are starters.
A season after they didn't have any seniors on the roster a year ago. Pancake saved there by Hannah Presley. The swing by Morris, right there is Van Sickle. Backside, it's Helvig, two-handed in the air by Butters, and unable to play it off the net was Presley. So a point for Hawaii, but every point so far hard-earned because of that kind of D.
There's a pancake pop-up to keep that rally alive once again. Great back row defense from both sides, actually.
So here is Helvig, 2.79 kills per set. And weekend number 1 was an all-tournament selection. Good pop-up there by Van Sickle. Helvig from the back row got under it a tad. No touch up front and another point for Army. And we have a substitution here for the Black Knights. It is Nikki Lund, 5'5" senior out of Honolulu, Hawaii, a graduate of Punahou School. One of 2 setters in this system for Army. Here's Wagner from off the net. The dig there by Butters. Set got botched up, and Sickle saves it for Hawaii. Here's Rasmussen, tried to plug it through the block, but it was too solid. Emmy Barnhorst, the middle hitter in on the scene, 6'2" sophomore from Winfield, Illinois. And Robin Amo signaling for an early timeout. Army up 3 in set 1.
Presentation of Rainbow Wahine Volleyball is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii and Hawaii Honda Dealers.
And welcome back. An early timeout signaled by Robin Amo. Talk things over with her team. Down 5-2 here in set 1, and out of that break, they go to the freshman middle Amber Igidi, who delivers with a smile, as always, from ear to ear.
She's a beauty, isn't she? How about the early stat sheet? Army out-blocking, out-digging, and out-hitting Hawaii. I'm not sure that'll last for very long after Robin Amo called that early timeout.
Obviously trying to get their attention, right?
Yep.
Here's Bailey Choi, the other setter for Hawaii, coming in along with Sky Williams in the middle. And blowing it right past Williams was Hannah Presley. 5'11" junior. A setter by listing, but as you can see, she can take a crack at it as well. Courtney Horace, who had a great opening weekend, rotates into the front row for Army. And how about the blasty blast off the palm of Sky Williams?
And Sky was really impressive in the interviews this week, talking about how she really, really wants this team to get to be as good as they possibly can. She thinks they have good, NCAA potential.
Right side. And that is Presley hits it into the pin. And so a point for Hawaii. Wagner back to serve. It is 5 serving 6. And remember, we look back at last weekend, 3-0, the takedown of 2 ranked opponents in San Diego and Washington. And you kind of forget, it was laborious for Hawaii. They trailed 2-1 each of the first 2 nights and had to come back to win in 5 sets in both those matches. High ball goes outside to Horace, over the block, layout, one-handed save by Helvig to no avail. And a point once again for the Black Knights.
They just continue to play relentless, just keep it in play kind of defense, frustrating the Rainbow Wahine.
Choi, one-hand set goes to Williams, and she's able to pop it off with a solo block attempt. And out of Monica Eckford.
Brilliant set that time by Bailey Choi, stealing that ball from going across the net and putting up a perfect one-hander for Sky.
See the numbers for Sky Williams. She was pulled out of the match on night 2 against St. John's fairly early, but boy did she come out with a vengeance against Washington. And that swing looked like there was a little vengeance behind it by Brooke Van Sickle, who immediately points back to the server, her former Oregon teammate Jolie Rasmussen.
She knows where the credit should go. The server's the one who made that play, forcing the overpass.
An over serve there by Jolie. How about the numbers for Jolie Rasmussen, the 6'2 junior from Encinitas, California, one of the 3 transfers from the Oregon program. 3.9 kills per set, hit 347, 17 digs, 13 blocks, and all of those individual accolades that came along with it as Helvig goes cross-court. Great dig there by Anna Ogilvie out of Iolani School. Good up on the other side by Wagner. So Rasmussen from behind the line gets it down, and that's part of what made her so tough last week. You can set her in almost every spot on the floor.
Exactly. And, you know, here she goes up really with not much of an approach, and against 3 blockers, still finds a way to get it down. How about the 3 awards, though? MVP, Big West Player of the Week, and National Player of the Week.
The National won a biggie. That's not one that comes too frequently. Here's Yosia. High backside set to Helvig. Good up there by Hannah Presley. So Ogilvie bump sets cross court. The touch shot by Morris is sniffed out. Played off the net by Yosia, but she couldn't pop it up. They wanted an interference call on Army, did the Hawaii bench. Instead, they're going to get a net violation call against Army, and so it's a point for the Rainbow Wahine. And this is the first lead for Hawaii as we take a look at the replay.
Where's my card? My green card. All right, here we go.
And we're going to have a challenge of the net violation call by Alma Kovaci Lee, the head coach for Army, been there more than a decade. Wayne Lee will take a look at it. He's the down referee. Denise Hansen atop the ladder. Kevin Chun, Ryan Scudder, the 2 line judges.
Didn't look like a net from here. What do you think?
Well, not a net up top. Maybe contact down low as Eckford was coming back down to the floor, but it was quickly confirmed by Wayne Lee. So Hawaii up 9-8. So here's Noreen Yosia. She also was an all-tournament selection last week in the Rainbow Wahine Classic. Middle set, and that's pounded down by Horace, 5'11" senior from Easton, Pennsylvania. Averaging a team-high 3.3 kills per set, hit 241 last week. And the Army Invitational had 14 kills each of the first 2 matches of the season against New Hampshire and Rhode Island. Middle, here's Ijidi, sent back. And on the pogo stick in celebration was Allie Strong.
I think Allie Strong got most of that. Last year she made All-Patriot Team, 2nd team for plays like that. Love the celebration.
You'll see a right side. Van Sickle blocked back, one-handed in the air by Rasmussen. Helvig the touch, pinballed around, but it finally plops down to the floor. Black Knights went 3-0 last week in their own Army Invitational, taking down New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Iona. And as we are tied for the 5th time here in set 1. Right side, Morris pulled the string. This Army team came ready to play, and they don't show any signs, C-Mac, of being in any way hampered or distracted by the surroundings, even though this is the first ever meeting between these two programs.
No intimidation factor here at all by the arena or by the Rainbow Wahine.
Wagner, that one didn't get above the tape. And so that's a point once again for the Black Knights, and they're up a deuce. And it is Anna Ogilvy, 5'6" junior, with the serve. Backside, Helvig, 2 blockers up. It's popped up tight to the net. Good up there by Rasmussen. She'll get the set from the back row. One-handed in the air by Presley. So Ogilvy bump sets cross court. It's Morris, plugs it through the block and down. And Sydney Morris, the southpaw on the opposite side, has been effective here on several occasions with that high ball set. Goes off of Wagner and out. And we have a Kirsten Sibley substitution for the Rainbow Wahine. The senior getting some spot duty here in set 1. And the overpass forced by the Ogilvy serve. One hand outside set, and that one hit into the pin. You often don't see a one-handed set go to either of the pins. You usually see that set up in the middle, but that one was pushed all the way out to that far side.
It was a hard set to set. She got it all the way out there.
You know what? He gets out of an otherwise sticky rotation. They trail by 2. High ball, this is outside, this is strong, dug up by Helvig. Rasmussen times the jump, goes off the block. Strong from a little off the net. Easy pickings there for Rasmussen. Here's Wagner, pulls the string herself.
I think Hawaii's gonna have to do that a little bit more often tonight. A little tip shot like that, because the defenders are playing so deep, digging so many balls, playing that wide perimeter defense in the back. They've been very successful with it so far. Taking a lot of balls, this Army.
See the numbers from last week for Riley Wagner, the 6-foot freshman from Dublin, Ohio. First Rainbow Wahine to hail from the state of Ohio. 12 serving 13, and Helvig sends it into the twine. Looking at some of the numbers here, Army hitting 192, Hawaii hitting 179. Dead even in digs, 14 apiece. But Hawaii with 2 service errors, none yet for Army. As Wagner plays it from the deep corner, one hand set goes to the middle. They're gonna call Yosia for a lift. So 15 serving 12. Yosia another one-handed set attempt. And Igidi that time whiffed on it, so a point for Army. 16 serving 12, a 3-0 run for the Black Knights. Crowd starting to get anxious too.
And the pass is a little bit too close to the net right now, making it tough for Yosia to get 2 hands on it. Here's a better pass.
Here's Rasmussen, is able to unload. Ball rattled around, and it will be returned. Can Hawaii take advantage here in the free ball? Rasmussen tried to push it past the block. Diving save there by Nikki Lum. Strong from off the floor. Is just able to scoot it over the net. And it still works out for another Army point. And they're up a handful. And right now, the Rainbow Wahine C-Mac reeling in this first set.
Yeah, they're being out-hustled right now. The fundamentals really are pretty sloppy. A lot of missed digs, missed passes.
That one goes long, no touch on the Hawaii side. And a point for the Rainbow Wahine. Well, that was a concern maybe for this team from the outside looking in, right? It's easy to get up for ranked opponents, even when you've played 2 arduous 5-set matches. Washington on the 3rd night. This team was able to take it from a focus and energy level to another level altogether. As that pass goes tight to the net. Rasmussen with the block, rattled around and returned. Army just picking up everything. Choi goes middle to Williams. Diving save, Ogilvy over the net. Ping-ponged back over by Rasmussen. Here Strong by the block. Somehow Rasmussen returns it off of the Choi dig. Strong again blocked. Punched over by Ogilvy and out. So a hard-earned point once again for Hawaii. It's a little more difficult, though, maybe when you receive some of the accolades. This is a team now in the top 25, ranked 20th in the nation. You get to read about, hear about a lot of your own hype. Might be a little difficult to sometimes get up for this next slate of opponents.
Exactly, and Army's playing some good volleyball.
Strong sends it into the corner. Good save there by Helvig. Rasmussen by the double block. The up by Lum. Centered, and it will be returned. Choi goes back row to Helvig. One blocker up. Ogilvy pops it in the air. Chased down by Lum, and then Ogilvy returns it. What a play by the two local players for Army. Williams, a little paintbrush put down for the Hawaii point.
Once again, that pass a little bit too close to the net for my comfort. Bailey Choi did a magnificent job, though, of saving that pass.
Timeout, Army. Little surge by the Bows. Welcome back tonight's Jack Fact. National recognition. Outside hitter Jolie Rasmussen awarded Hawaii's 10th AVCA National Player of the Week award this week. The last was courtesy Nikki Taylor back in November of 2016. But right now it's Hawaii trailing by a pair here in set number one against a game and feisty Army squad. The slide is blocked back off the swing by Barnhorst and then put down by Wagner.
What started that whole playoff was a great serve by Bailey Choi down the line. How about that block, pushing the ball back into the court is Rasmussen once again.
4-0 run here put on by the Rainbow Wahine as some time being taken to wipe perspiration off of the Terraflex. How impressed have you been defensively with this Army squad?
Very impressed. They just don't seem to let the ball drop. They do a great job. If the block is split, they do a great job of putting a defender right in that hole in the block. They've done that several times to keep the rally alive.
Choi with the serve. Outside. That went off the fingertips of the block. Rattled around on Hawaii's side and then sent over by Sibley. Back set goes to Presley. And it's another Hawaii point.
How about that aggressive swing by Sibley on a broken play? Ball popped up at the last minute, high enough for her to swing. No approach, literally. One step, boom. Good swing, no block. Gets the point.
And an air high five from across the floor to head coach Robin Amo from Kirsten Sibley. So Hawaii able to march all the way back, and then the out serve by Bailey Choi breaks up the momentum a bit. Courtney Horace rotates back into the front row for Army.
It's a good rotation for Hawaii, though, with Rasmussen, Williams, and Wagner in the front.
Allie Strong with the serve, and she blasts it long. So we are neck and neck here in a very much up for grabs opening frame. 7th tie of this first set. And the 2018 Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year. Wagner with the serve. The touch over by Horace is sniffed out. Rasmussen from off the net, block out a piece. High and away it goes to Horace, dug up in the back row there by Helvey. Here's Sibley. Off of one knee, Ogilvy digs it up. Horace from off the net, chance for Hawaii on the attack. They go middle to Williams. Couldn't catch it clean. And a point for Army. Missed opportunity that time for the Wahine.
That's what Ryan Clay Suji was talking about. Hawaii's got to improve on their transition play, get crisper and cleaner when they're going from defense to offense.
Sibley on the first touch. Chased down by Choi. High ball to Sibley, blocked. And unable to return it on that last touch was Williams. And Army up 2, first to 20 here in this opening set. And Robin Amo is going to signal for another timeout. She understands how pivotal getting to 21st can be. It is the targeted plateau, as Army has just been sprawling out all over the Terraflex defensively here against the Rainbow Wahine.
Out-digging Hawaii 20-15 with plays like that, little pancake dig. And they keep the ball on their own side of the court as well. Just one after another. Leading the way is Sailor Butters. She's got 5. I'll tell you what Army's doing that is sort of not noticeable, and that is they're picking their spots serving. They're serving tough and good floaters and hitting the seam. So it's not directly to one person, but two people basically have to fight over the serve, and it's causing problems for Hawaii to pass the ball up and run an offense.
Well, take your internet with you. Spectrum Internet customers get free unlimited access to over 4,000 Wi-Fi hotspots across the islands. Well, one thing you're not going to ever worry about for an Army team because of the lifestyle of these student athletes is discipline.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
They will follow instruction. They will do what the coach implores them to do. The rest just comes down to overall execution and what's happening on the other side of the net.
Exactly. Actually, Alma Lee told us before the game, she told both of us, she walked by and said, we may not have better athletes, but watch us dig a lot of balls, watch us serve, and watch us follow a game plan that we hope is successful. So far, it seems to be working. What do you think?
So far, so good. Up a deuce here in set number 1. 20 serving 18. Sibley the first touch, and she shanks it, and it's an ace. A couple of tough serves off of the palm of Emmy Barnhurst. Led the team in kills and blocks last year as a freshman, and here she is serving some bombs. Flat-footed as they may be, that time it flattened out a little too much. But Hawaii with an uphill climb. 19 serving 21, Jolie Rasmussen. A good one to have behind the service line when you need a run. It was part of an 8-0 run in that final 4th set to claim victory against Washington. And that time, some uncharacteristic poor execution on the side of Army. And Hawaii within a digit. Outside, it's Horace off the block. Right there is Wagner. So Choi goes outside to Helvig. Hits the pin. Point Army. And it is 22 serving 20. Another missed opportunity. Hawaii with a golden chance in transition, unable to cash in. Back to serve is Hannah Presley. Choi goes middle to Williams, off the block and down. That was Sydney, make that Monica Eckford trying to provide resistance against Williams. And we are coming down to the nitty-gritty here in set number 1. You'll see a back behind the line to serve and into the match for the first time, freshman middle Tiffany Westerberg. Gave Hawaii some good contributions throughout the opening weekend, particularly on night 2 against St. John's. Middle set, that one touched over by Morris, sniffed out by Sibley. Here's Helvig off the fingertips of the block. Right side, it's Morris off the block, played off of the ricochet by Helvig. She'll get a swing out of it, and a layout save in the back row there by Strong. Here's Horace. Great effort on the second touch there by Sibley, but nothing doing. Horace gets the kill. That's her 3rd, and Army closing in here in the first.
Once again, Army just scrappy and gritty and hustling for every ball. Hawaii hustling as well, but Hawaii not staying in the rally quite as long. Army just seems to be relentless on defense.
And we had a wiper on the floor as Sailor Butters was getting into her service delivery.
I forgot to let the referee know that there was a wet spot on the floor, so Wilson blew, and we had chaos.
The Wipers doing the old ice the kicker maneuver. And maybe it worked. So 22 serving 23, a must-get point here for Hawaii. Kirsten Sibley, the senior, back behind the line to serve. And she hits it long. So it is aloha ball in set one for the Army Black Knights. Only dropped one set in their opening weekend.
They're the real deal, you think? They look pretty good.
They look pretty darn sharp. Here's Anna Ogilvie out of Iolani with the serve. High ball set goes to Wagner off the block. One hand save Presley. Back bump set goes to Strong through the block and down. And Army comes in from all the way at West Point. And they make a statement here in the opening set. 25-22. Black Knights in front. Bring the stadium experience home with University of Hawaii football on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view. Call 643-2337 to order your 7-game season package today. And a big one for Nick Rolovich and his team as they get ready to host Oregon State, another Pac-12 opponent. Off of the bye week for the Bows after that season opening win. A dramatic victory as it was against Arizona. And you can check that one out Saturday on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view. Army taking set number one. How surprised were you at the way the Black Knights came out ready to go here against the 20th ranked team in the country?
Really not that surprised, Cano. Whenever a team has a big weekend or a big win, the next time out, no matter when it is, 2 days later or a week later, it doesn't make any difference. It's really tough to play to the same level you just played to. So I suspect that Hawaii's going to raise their level now. You'll see it taking over the senior. She's got the huddle now, and she's telling everybody, okay, it's time. But here's how good the Black Knights were playing defense. The National Player of the Week gets 1 kill, she has 1 error, and she gets dug 9 times. That's got to be frustrating. So you got to give a lot of credit to Alma Lee and her staff for getting this team ready to play some amazing defense. 26 digs in the first set. So they average only like 16 on the year. They got 10 more than usual. How about that?
So if you're Hawaii, how do you try to offset what Army is doing defensively? What can you do?
I think patience, number one. Number two, don't pass the ball so close to the net, because there was a lot of difficulty for the setters trying to have to set those balls with one hand and run an offense. So they've got to have the control their passing is I think, huge in this second set.
Noreen Yosia first to serve here in set number 2. Hawaii playing from behind. Outside it goes to Strong, blasted off the fingertips of the block. Yosia back row to Rasmussen. That one tickled the tape, and it will be returned. Hawaii on the attack. Yosia, high ball to Van Sickle. The up by Ogilvie. That's her 8th dig already in this match. Bump set goes to Van Sickle through the block. There's Ogilvie again. Middle set, it's Eckford off the block. Helvig pumps it into the air, and then it's returned by Rasmussen. Army all of a sudden with the advantage. They go backside to Morris, and she tools the block. And that play, that sequence, almost an embodiment of what we've seen so far in this match.
Exactly. Army with just a little more patience than Hawaii there. Morris does a great job. The lefty does a great job of working the edges of the block and getting those fingertips.
Ogilvie with the serve, pass Van Sickle, gets the set in the middle, but she's blocked. Shouldered back over by Helvig. Morris through the block and down. And Army has a certain confidence about them. It continues to swell here.
The other thing that Coach Lee loves about this team, the 4 seniors, of whom Morris is one of them.
Yeah, all 4 seniors play heavily into the lineups this season for the Army Black Knights. As mentioned, they did not have a senior on the roster a year ago, and yet they closed last season, their season finale, a year where they went 14-15 with a rare win over American University. That is the program that has kind of dominated the Patriot League in women's volleyball over some significant number of years now. Here's Helvig. Good save again by Ogilvy, just racking up the dig numbers. Rasmussen bumps it tight to the net, and so it's a scramble on Hawaii's side. Helvig gets a swing out of it. Ogilvy another pickup. Middle set goes to Barnhurst. You'll see the first off the ricochet there. Helvig from off the net. And guess what? Army defensively is there. But Morris mistimed on the jump. Gets it back over to Hawaii, and here is Helvig finally getting a good swing to go down.
Hawaii much more patient in that rally. Great save by Van Sickle. I think she's leading the Rainbow Wahine in digs. And how about Ogilvy on the other side of the net? She's just a digging machine.
Well, Ogilvy was the MVP of the Army Invitational Tournament last year. Has been the starting libero for Army since her freshman campaign. You may recognize the last name if you follow prep volleyball. She was part of the 2016 Iolani State title team alongside sister Elena, who made the U.S. Girls Youth National Team, by the way, and will play in the Under-18 World Championships in Cairo, Egypt, coming up later this year. As the block is up for Helvig, and Elena, by the way, a Stanford commit, so some really good volleyball running through the blood there in the Ogilvy family.
Absolutely. And Ogilvy, I think, got the MVP in last week's Army Invitational.
Delay middle set goes to Strong. Block got a good chunk, and then Van Sickle with the save. And how about the aptitude of Tiffany Westerberg to give it a crack on that second touch?
Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire and play a little unorthodox. Put the ball over on two once in a while and not be quite so traditional. Because when you're traditional, Army will line up their defense and they will dig you.
Slide. That's Barnhurst taking something off. Van Sickle there again, though, on the layout save. Barnhurst just tried to shove it past the Helvig block. Right side set. Here's Wagner. Dug up by Ogilvy, just picking up everything Hawaii has to offer. Here's Helvig. Off the block, Ogilvy there. Morris the swing. Two-handed in the air by Wagner. Middle set Westerberg. Guess who? Ogilvy. Scoops it up. The crack by Strong. Helvig with the pickup for Hawaii. Back row set, Van Sickle sends it long. Was there a touch? No touch. Point for Army after another marathon sequence.
It's really fun to watch this volleyball. There's so many great plays, and Ogilvy is putting on a show in front of her hometown fans.
Had 44 digs last week in 3 matches. Again, named MVP of the Army Invitational. 4.4 digs per set. She has 14 already in this match, Chris.
Make it 15.
That's unbelievable. Through the block and down, Ali Strong gets it to go. Ali Strong, the floor captain for the Black Knights, was an All-Patriot League second-team selection back in 2016. That was a freshman campaign, and here she is, one of the 4 seniors. You'll see it. Goes high and away to Wagner. And that is one of the first clean bounces we have seen on a Hawaii strike.
Notice that Rasmussen took a break in the back row in that last rotation. Okino came in and played some libero for her. I think Robin Moe was worried about the passing breaking down a little bit, not being as solid. And last week, I remember Okino came in and stabilized that passing.
That's right.
On night number 2 against St. John's.
Yeah, did not play against Washington, but again, that's sort of how it's going to go. Robin Amo, who's never been shy about making a necessary change, has the confidence in Riko Okino, even if she's been sitting, to put her in the match. And she certainly delivered when they needed her most against St. John's on night 2. Another good swing there by Strong. And Army playing dead even here with Hawaii in this second frame.
Could you say it was a strong swing?
You could.
Yeah.
Both figuratively and literally. And that serve goes strong.
Strong and long.
Hawaii being held under triple digits here in hitting percentage for the match, 0.97.
Last week they hit like 275, I think, something like that.
Correct.
For the weekend.
Bailey Choi with the serve. The former Iolani mate, Anna Ogilvy, with the pickup. on the serve, and it leads to the put down and kill. Horace getting another to notch under the stat column. Outside, Rasmussen comes swooping and she's blocked back. Middle set, it's Williams. Did it touch the floor? No, it did not. The spatula was busted out. Well, now they will say that it did touch the floor. The whistle was late, but Hawaii gets the point.
It was a good call by Wayne Lee, and he's the one who can see the ball best, because the top referee cannot see that because they're blocked by the players.
And by virtue of our replay, looked like a good call for sure. Horace, the touch blocked back by Williams, but a net violation called against Williams. Army is not showing any signs of intimidation. They are not looking like they are backing down in any way, shape, or form. They look like they are here to play some volleyball, and it's on Hawaii to adjust at this point, C-Man.
Absolutely.
Two-hand pass there, Van Sickle. Backside, it's Rasmussen. Dug up by Strong, and the bump set goes to Morris. Right there is Helvig. And Choi able to catch him napping. The dump shot, first time we've seen that from the Hawaii setters here tonight.
That's what I was talking about, being unorthodox a little bit. Go non-traditional, put the ball over on two once in a while, and throw something offensively at this Army team that they haven't seen before.
Here's Horace from off the net, sends it long, and Hawaii up two.
Horace had a good weekend last week, as you said earlier, 3 kills per set.
Preseason All-Patriot League selection. Slide, that's Eckford, denied. Hannah Helvig says, ole, and Hawaii on a 3-0 run.
Yeah, at what point will the Manoa Roofing Company officially move into this building this weekend?
Yeah, that would be an element that has not quite reared itself so far in this match, but make it back-to-back blocks for the Rainbow Wahine. Williams next to Van Sickle that time. That's now 4 straight points for Hawaii, and Army will take a timeout. Hawaii finally getting it going. Welcome back. Let's go inside the numbers presented by Heineken. 3.5, that's the blocks per set by the Rainbow Wahine this season. That's best among Big West teams. Second place, UC Santa Barbara at 2.75. Hawaii accumulated 49 total team blocks last week. And the addendum to that story is Angelica Ljungqvist, the associate coach, made a deal with her players that she would run a lap around the track for every team block this season. As Helvig gets it popped up by Ogilvy, chased down there by Horace out of the fans and sent back over. Middle set, it's Williams off the block. Good cover there by Presley. Bump set, Ogilvy goes to Morris, and the door is once again slammed shut.
Block starting to come together now. That's the 5th block of the night for the Rainbow Wahine.
So that's going to be 5 more laps. It must be said, Angelica Ljungqvist did in fact fulfill her end of the deal this week. Went around the track, separated it out for 3 days, but did go around the track 49 times.
By the way, I asked her about it. She said, you know something? I hate to run. I've always hated to run. I can't call it a run. It was a walk jog. That's what it was.
Hey. She is going to be in impeccable shape at this rate by the end of the season. She may get into it. We may see her in the Honolulu Marathon.
You never know, yeah.
At this rate. Hawaii on a bit of a run right now. 6 straight points.
Look at those numbers for Rasmussen. 19 kills against the 13th ranked team in the country tonight. Only 1 kill.
Outside, it's Horace. Big swing. And a net violation called against Hawaii. Palms pointed upward on the Rainbow Wahine side of the net. But it's an Army point, trailing by a handful. But a good surge there by Hawaii to create a little bit of space.
By the way, if there's a blocking error, Angelica gets to subtract a lap, just so you know.
backside. Here's Van Sickle. That's her second kill. Van Sickle in her Hawaii debut against San Diego last week was incredible. 12 kills, hit 440 to go along with 14 digs, an ace, and 4 blocks. It was certainly quiet by that standard the next couple of nights, but we could see the potential, and she has shown some flashes of brilliance already this young season.
Terrific athlete.
14 serving 8. Here's Noreen Yosia. Pass there by Butters. Outside it's Strong. Couldn't put everything on it. Diving layout save there by Rasmussen, and Helvig slaps it across. Army on the attack. Middle to Eckford. Popped up by Van Sickle. Here's Helvig. It goes down the top of the net like a tightrope walking artist and down inside the far sideline.
Helvig got lucky there. Got an awful lot of cable. I thought it was going out of bounds for sure. Helvig struggled a little bit on Sunday night against Washington, 11 kills. Didn't hit for a good percentage, 0.97 or something, but she still means so much to the team because of the great defender she is, the great passer she is, and the calm presence she has all the time.
Yeah, it's the perfect counter, if you will, to what we see from Jolie Rasmussen, right? That as you see the set go outside Strong. That one passed tight to the net and then placed down by Sydney Morris. But you have Rasmussen, who just oozes exuberance at every turn, is one of the great and most emotional celebration artists for this Hawaii team. And then you have Hannah Helvig, who is just very understated about everything, just going about her business. And I think those are two personalities that create a good balance here among this roster as Westerberg goes off of 1 foot and pounds it off with the hands.
You have to have the yin and the yang on every team. And certainly that's a great example of the yin and the yang. Rasmussen and Helvig. Here's Westerberg. How about her? Coming on strong. I didn't expect that she would play as much as she did last week, but she came in, and especially on night number 2 against St. John's, and kind of saved the day in a way.
You like to have the yin and the yang on the team in terms of the roster composition. You like to have that on the coaching staff as well, and I think you could argue that you have those kinds of balancing personalities on this Hawaii staff.
Exactly.
Ogilvie puts the pass on the money, and the block by Helvig, but it's sent right back over. Morris got turned back, and then it turned into a ping pong match at the net.
Westerberg, I think, caught by surprise. She didn't expect the ball to come over that quickly.
Here's Nikki Lum, 2016 Punahou graduate. High ball outside. Wagner blocked and roofed. Hannah Presley, the former gymnast, flashing some hops there. It is 11 serving 16 in set 2.
That's set a little bit low and tight by Yosia.
Yosia goes back row to Rasmussen. That was also a low set. We're going to say that did not hit the Terraflex. Army returns it. Outside, Wagner off the fingertips of the block and down. And Army continues to bring the effort.
Let's see if the hand got on it. No, that ball was down. So Rasmussen denied her second kill of the night.
The officials at this point just giving Army the benefit of the doubt, right? Saying, hey, they've been saving all of these
they seem to dig everything
balls all night long. Why not that one?
So if they're near a ball, it must be done.
Good serve there by Helvig. But Strong's going to get a swing out of it into the twine. It goes, though. Heck of an effort just by Ogilvie to set up Strong for an opportunity at taking a swing. But Army will take a timeout. We'll take one as well. Hawaii up 7. Let's check out the first Hawaiian Bank top 3. Hawaii career blocks per set. Heather Bowen is atop the list, but there is associate coach Angelica Ljungqvist. Number 2, Victoria Prince in the number 3 spot. Played from 93 to 96, did Coach Ange. You know what? We're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the opening of this fantastic facility, right? The Stan Sheriff Center, originally a special events arena, opened in 1994. In fact, the inaugural game was Rainbow Wahine Volleyball versus San Jose State. That was October 21st. And Angelica Ljungqvist and head coach Robin Almo were on that team, played in that game, and just adds to the overall poetry, I think, at hand here with this coaching staff in place.
You know the number one blocker we just saw, Heather Bowen? You know what she did before she played volleyball? She was a swimmer. You know who swam on this team? Jolie Rasmussen.
Swimming is a good prerequisite, maybe. Huh?
Jolie said she got tired of the little black stripe at the bottom of the pool.
Oh, just staring at it every time?
So she actually changed strokes. And she went to backstroke, so she didn't have to look at it.
12 serving 18. Great serve there, busted out.
Once again, Army doing a great job of taking chances, on the serve and just drilling it, trying to get a lot of movement, serving it at as many miles per hour as they can get out of it, looks like.
Army not going away here. Rasmussen blocked back. They'll go back to Jolie. Oh my word. Some extra chili pepper water on that one by Jolie Rasmussen.
Might stop her once, but rarely will you stop her on the second shot. Some frustration there as she knows that she's been dug a lot by this Army team tonight. It's only her third kill of the night. She would normally at this point, according to the first weekend stats, she would have probably around 10 kills instead of 3.
19 serving 13. Here's Choi. Set goes middle, and the dig by Van Sickle on the Barnhurst swing. Good work by Hawaii to get it back across. Outside, Horace blocked back. But Army hanging tough once again. Choi middle to Williams. That one will not be returned. And Hawaii up 7.
Sky's had a good night. She picks up her 6th kill, hitting over 500.
Need tickets to an upcoming UH contest? Visit hawaiiathletics.com. Call 944-BOWS or visit the Stan Sheriff Center box office. 3 easy ways to get your seats for exciting UH sports action. 20 serving 13. Choi lofts it over. Outside it's Horace. Got under it. No touch up front. And Hawaii with some breathing room. And credit the Rainbow Wahine getting a little shell-shocked maybe in that first set and going up against an Army team that's certainly ready for battle as you would anticipate. But Hawaii finding ways to succeed here so far in set number 2. Middle set, and that's Barnhurst just blasting it down.
Not sure why Hawaii's serving Ogilvy. She's such a good passer, puts it right on the money. And again, she's also taking a lot of court.
Barnhurst back to serve. Grew up playing soccer, speaking of other sports, as an entree to volleyball, and was also a cheerleader. Great bump set by Choi to Wagner, dug up over the net. Good effort in the back row by Strong. Here's Williams in the middle. That one caught the net, helped Army out a little bit defensively. Horace slaps it over. So Choi goes high and away. Rasmussen roll shot is down. She's got that shot down.
She's got so many shots. Wonder Woman, there you go. So many shots in her repertoire. And she is a little frustrated, I think, that she hasn't racked up a few more kills. This Army defense has been so good.
Yeah, it's not as though she hasn't been making solid contact.
Correct.
Horace had to sprint back in just to two-handed over. So Okino bump sets it to Rasmussen. And she dunks it off of the block and out for a Hawaii point. There's yet another shot in the bag for Jolie Rasmussen, but we will get a challenge perhaps on that in-out call or maybe on a net violation. We'll see.
It was the block. The ball was blocked in, not out.
So she is going to challenge the in-out call here.
Both of her blockers turned right away and said, "Coach, that ball was in. Get that challenge card out."
Denise Hansen, the R1, right there with a pretty good view of that, though, but let's see. Oh, that may have touched the line there.
It looked like it was, on that particular view, it looked like it was more out than in. Looked like it hit a lot of green. This one will be too hard to tell. This side one's not as good. The top one's better. That one's hard to tell. This was the best view right here.
Oh, what do you think?
I would call it out. I think the lines person had it right. But maybe caught a little bit of the...
Yeah, I think I'm a devil's advocate here. I think I
Okay.
might say that that was an in ball.
I think he's going to give it. I bet he gives it to him.
He does. And Kanoa is up 1 in the challenges.
Yes, he is.
And a good challenge there by Alma Kovaci Lee. Now asks Wayne Lee for a lineup check as we take a look at the officiating crew here this evening. And they double check, and now the substitution is made as Morris goes back into the match. And Hannah Presley now to serve. Won 3 girls junior national championships. But maybe that long break in the action did her a disservice, and she sends it long.
Sometimes those challenges can take long enough to really take the steam out of a team that's got some momentum.
Here's Rasmussen to serve. Goes deep corner with it. Good pass there by Morris. And then Horace is able to plug it through that block and down. Horace, a team captain, was a second-team All-Patriot League selection a year ago. Had 13 double-digit kill matches. And she is not a 6-rotation player. She only plays through the front row. And so the fact that she puts up the kinds of offensive numbers that she has throughout the last couple of seasons is pretty remarkable. As Helbig puts a pretty remarkable heavy hand on that one.
Pretty much advantage attacker there when it's one-on-one.
Half dozen kills here for Hannah Helbig. Aloha ball for Hawaii in the second set. And Yosia sends it just long, tried to curl it in, but it went just beyond that end line. And now Anna Ogilvy getting ready to serve for the Black Knights. Yosia, step out Westerberg. And that will be in cross court. And a point for Hawaii in set 2 comes to a close. So Hawaii reverses its fortune, losing set 1, 25-22. They're playing Army, but this is a naval term. Rainbow Wahine riding the ship in the second. Welcome back. It's 1-1 after 2 sets. Let's take a look at the McDonald's match statistics. C-Mac, what are you looking at?
Well, for two teams that have just split sets, it's pretty close. Hawaii with more kills, 27-21, obviously. They're hitting for a better percentage, 172 to over 96. They're a little more efficient with their offense. Blocks even, there's a surprise. Digs about even. Hawaii was way behind in digs in the first set, halfway through the second. Then all of a sudden, Hawaii got on board and got to dig a lot more balls. Serving, Hawaii has yet to come up with an ace. That's kind of a surprise to me. Normally they're a very good serving team. Normally we expect Yosia at least to come up with a couple of service aces, and she hasn't been able to do that.
Well, defense was the name of the game for Army in that first set. Not necessarily in the form of blocking statistics, but just keeping the ball off the floor. Hawaii seemed to create some distance and really spark itself when that block made an appearance in the midsection of that second set.
Exactly. And when Hawaii's block gets going, it can really demoralize the other team's hitters. But so far, 5 blocks apiece for each team, so they're both having their way. certainly defense has been the name of the game tonight. Who's going to get more digs? Which team is going to be more patient than the other?
Well, whoever comes out of this match victorious will have earned it for sure. And a great way to start the third. Allie Strong deals an ace out of the deck and is able to handcuff Riley Wagner, who is one of the best when it comes to service receive for Hawaii.
I expect they'll try to serve her again. If they do, she'll probably put up a perfect pass, which she did.
That one a little tight to the net, and then she wasn't there on the set by Choi, but she's able to bump it over somehow. And then the misplaced set by Nikki Lum. So
that was not a pretty rally, Canella. That was ugly.
He had an uncharacteristic receiving error by Wagner the play before that, and then a very uncharacteristic set that went at OB by Nikki Lum.
That was very unusual. These two teams have not been that sloppy. The two teams have been playing some terrific defense all night long and pretty good ball control for the most part.
You see Lum there, had 13 double-doubles last year, played defensive specialist and setter, basically as needed. Led the team in assists. Tried to play that one off the net, but how about another rarity? One of the first serves that Ogilvie didn't stick on the pass.
Exactly, first ace of the night for the Rainbow Wahine.
Courtesy Riley Wagner goes to that deep corner, and wouldn't you know it, Ogilvie on the much more difficult reception is able to place that one on the money, but then the block is up, courtesy Skylar Williams and company.
Sky just going up high. You know what her nickname is now? Sky's the limit.
Well, when her block is going and when this Hawaii front row is putting up that wall that we saw last weekend, Sky might be the limit for this team.
Exactly.
It wasn't there, though, that time as Courtney Horace took advantage.
Courtney Horace, a real deal in the front row, man. She can really play.
Yeah, she's pretty dynamic. Here's Rasmussen, blasted off the block, but she's roofed. And that time it was Horace defensively next to Monica Eckford. Eckford, another one of those former swimmers, but her experience in the pool was a little different. She was a synchronized swimmer.
Right.
Choi highballs it to Van Sickle, tried to get cute with it, got a little too cute with it, and it is Army on top for serving three. Great serve once again by Barnhorst. So Rasmussen just two-hand touches it over. Middle set, Eckford. Right there is Wagner. So here's Van Sickle, blocked back. Good cover there by Okino. Back row set Wagner. One blocker up, but we got a net violation. So it'll go to Hawaii. Like Eckford got into the twine just a touch.
Another great dig in the back row by Wagner. She leads Hawaii right now with 10 digs.
Set right side, that's Presley. Good up by Choi, but nobody at her back. And those are the kind of plays that will drive Robin Amo mad.
When this ball gets dug up, there should be two players going for it. Instead, neither player goes for it.
Choi has to chase down the set. Back row set to Rasmussen. And Army now putting on the block party as Eckford was once again up in the middle. Six serving four. Choi goes right side. Van Sickle, one blocker up, but it's dug up over the net by Strong. Here's Williams, diving save Ogilvie. From off the net, Horace got a good palm on it, but went too far wide, cross court, and a much needed point for the Lady Bows.
Rare hitting error from Army there. They normally keep the ball in play. They like to have the rally go on as long as possible. They like to out-discipline and out-patient you.
Army flatlining it offensively here in the early goings of this third set. Hawaii at negative 286 in this third set. Here's Yosia. High and away, the set goes to Morris. Right there's Wagner. And then the set, Westerberg tried to take it on. And it jostled around in the palms a little bit, so a point for Army. So Sailor Butters now to serve, 5'7" freshman from Tempe, Arizona, out of Notre Dame Prep. Two-hand pass, Van Sickle. Slide to Westerberg. That was pretty smooth right there, well-timed on the step out.
This little crossing player, Westerberg goes one way to the pin, and Brooke Van Sickle crosses behind her and hits that two-set in the middle.
See 4 kills for Tiffany Westerberg, hitting 500. Oh, that one just beyond the outstretched arm of Eckford. They tried to go quick, a little too quick that time. So we're knotted at 7 apiece. Back set, and it's Morris stuffed. Hannah Helvig was there defending the line.
Finally, Hawaii got some defense going on at the net. Helvig taking that line away. Morris has been so effective on that right side all night long.
Middle set, Eckford able to work it off the block. So we are just creeping along here in set number 3. Tied for the 5th time. Helvig, that crossing pattern in the middle is returned. Westerberg swipes at it. Didn't get a clean connection. So Morris, that's dug up by Van Sickle. Outside, Wagner had to adjust the jump right there. Is Ogilvie. Morris again, cross court. And some high cheddar in the direction of Hannah Helvig.
And Morris has been so effective on that right side. And she gets the set just right, like she did then, although that might have been an out ball. I'm sure Helvig should have taken that, but Morris just brings the heat.
And Robin Amo's going to signal for another early timeout, with Hawaii trailing by a point in a crucial set 3.
Here's one of the combination plays Hawaii likes to run with Brooke Van Sickle running an X pattern. She goes behind Westerberg. Westerberg goes to the right and does a slide. And you see that Brooke Van Sickle was there in the middle. Actually, Van Sickle would have been a good set there because no blocker was around.
Yosia highballs it to Wagner, hits it into the net. Hawaii calling that last timeout, and I tell you, Robin Amo was none too pleased in that huddle, and she was letting her team hear it. Trying to spark this Rainbow Wahine squad. Ogilvie pumps it long. And now another substitution as Kyra Hanawahine, 5'2" junior, out of Kamehameha Kapalama, one of the 3 transfers from Oregon. Also effective in her spot duty in weekend number 1. She's in and back to serve.
She came in set 5 on night number 1 against San Diego and just lit it up, didn't she?
Got a key dig, got a key ace.
Another great serve there.
And the block is up for Hawaii. And it is stout. Tiffany Westerberg next to Riley Wagner. A couple of frosh putting up the wall.
What made that play was Kyra's serve. Forced to pass off the net. The blockers knew the ball was going to be set to front left. They were out there waiting.
Good serve again. Back set goes to Morris, and Rasmussen says,
This is one of the things that I think Jolie does best. This one-on-one block on that left side. So when slide hitters come out and hit there, or a lefty like that goes up, and it's a tight set at all, Rasmussen will win that battle more often than not. Very disciplined.
Hawaii now with 9 total team blocks, but Army not doing too bad. They've got 7 on their side. Wahine. And just clearing the net. High ball outside. It's strong. Hits it long. No touch. And Hawaii up 2. Well, how about the boost provided for this Hawaii team by Kaira Hanawahine?
The littlest Wahine at 5'3". There's room for everybody on this squad, right, Kanoa?
Morris, block out of touch. So Hanawahine back bump sets Rasmussen. Kaira just making it happen here at this critical juncture of set 3.
Something about her when she comes into the game just makes things happen.
Now it's Army signaling for a timeout. Well, the littlest player on the floor making one of the biggest impacts. Welcome back. Get the greatest plays, hardest hits, and schedule info by following Spec Sports High on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Hawaii up 3, and Hanawahine just gets it over the tape. Morris is dug up by Van Sickle in the back row. Right side, it's Wagner off of 1 foot. 2-hand save there, Butters. And then the middle set is put down. Nice work there. Emmy Barnhorst, who has given Army some really strong contribution here throughout this match.
Should be a nice round of applause here for Kaira Hanawahine and this appreciative crowd. Well deserved. And look at her teammates, they're all loving it. She's popular, isn't she?
And Hawaii was in need of a spark, and was that the spark that gets them going? Serve goes wide by Nikki Lum. And so that helps the Hawaii cause as well. Now the substitutions for the Rainbows as Choi and Williams enter back into the contest. And it's Bailey Choi back behind the line to serve. And that's set in the middle. Almost hit long there by Presley, saved by Van Sickle, and then Williams couldn't get it down. The block by Rasmussen. Ogilvie pops it up, so Strong just gets it up over the block. Choi, middle to Williams. That time was a little more flush. Pinballed around, though. And then Presley into the net.
Once again, Army just digging all kinds of balls. And as you said, the ping pong kind of play, that's where they're best. All those rat-a-tat plays, balls being dug 12 to 18 inches off the ground, they're good at it.
Well, you're getting these serves in this third set, forcing Army to come at them offensively. Here's Wagner. Oh, tried to go line, missed it wide. Had the right idea, perhaps.
The opening was there. I saw her hit that in practice yesterday, and she just drilled it down the line. Similar set there. She just bit off more than she could chew at that line.
So 12 serving 15. Strong with the serve. Choi highballs it to Wagner. Down the line again, but right there was Ogilvie. Tight to the net, and Williams says, mahalo nui loa.
Williams took a ball that was entirely on.
Oh, but we're going to have a net violation against Hawaii.
The ball was entirely on Army's side of the net. Let's see if that's true. Oh, I don't know. That looked pretty 50-50 to me.
So that was an interference call, not a net violation. And according to that replay, that did not quite look like it deserved an interference call.
No.
And Sickle blasts it off the block and out.
As soon as that ball breaks the plane, it's either team's ball, and that ball I thought had broken the plane.
A non-reviewable call, it should also be stated.
Yeah.
Outside, here's Horace through the block. Good up there by Choi. Chased down by Rasmussen. Van Sickle tried to dunk it over. Middle, it's Williams. How about the defense by Army? Unbelievable strong, slaps it over. Right side, Rasmussen with 2 blockers up. Finds that deep corner, and Hawaii is up 4.
Finally, she decided to go high and deep rather than trying to bring the ball down inside the 3-meter line or hit it too low. Hits it deep and finds the Terraflex.
5th kill on, I think that's 6th kill on 24 swings for Rasmussen here in this match. And then the put down there on the soft touch. Barnhorst again, getting kill number 3. And then sends it long.
The Army's going to have their share of serves that go long, but I think that Coach Lee wants them to at least hit it hard for a good reason and at somebody or in it seams, because serving has been one of the keys to their success tonight. But there's going to be some misses.
And does this get over the net? Yes, it does. By the skin of Army's teeth. Van Sickle then goes off the block and out. She's been tooling the block the last couple of swings. And that one narrowly got back over from Army's side. The way Army is playing defense, though, it almost behooves them to just get the serves in. Forget trying to be so precise with it.
Exactly, because they're dicking so many balls. They've blocked as many balls as White. They're each at 7.
Roll shot is sniffed out there by Choi. So high ball bump set to Rasmussen from behind the line. She one-hands it up in the air as it came back over. Helvig the swing, cross court and in. That was a beauty.
There's a nice bump set by Bailey Choi. She's just so accurate with her location, whether she's using her hands or whether she's bump setting it.
Here's Rasmussen. Outside, Horace was tight to the net. Van Sickle blocked it back. And then Eckford from the middle. How about the effort by Rasmussen to no avail? Crowd applauding the slip and slide dive there by Jolie Rasmussen.
Tried to get a little pancake on it, but it was just, I think, about 2 feet too far.
I mean, for her to have gone through all of the travails, all of the injuries, and yet to still be absolutely non-hesitant when it comes to laying out for a ball like that. And that really was one of the great storylines from last week. All of the accolades that went her way. But I think those who knew what she has been through, particularly recently in her career, they knew that it meant that much more as Helvig is dug up over the net. May have been an out ball. She played it. Williams in the middle says it doesn't matter. And a point for Hawaii. In fact, getting back to Jolie Rasmussen, Angelica Ljungqvist said that she got pretty emotional herself after the Washington win and after the performance by Jolie Rasmussen resulted in the tournament MVP, because she knew she has gone through so many trials and tribulations physically just to get herself back onto the floor for the opportunity to play, and she made the most of it in week 1.
Like 7 ankles, a couple of knees, disc surgery on her back. I mean, she says it's been like 3 years since she's been fully healthy. That's what meant so much to her. That's why she was so emotional that night after that match, because she's just so darn happy to be healthy again and playing well on top of it.
Let's check in with Ryan. What's up?
Hey, thanks, Kunal. Well, the coaching staff on the Army sideline just trying to get that emotion back into the team that they really showed in that first set. They're also telling their team to be patient, realizing that Hawaii's playing much better defense than they did earlier in the match, and now they're the ones that are sometimes making uncharacteristic swings, asking them to sort of slow down and play quality and play consistently. For Hawaii sideline, they're talking about their blocking, something that was a strong suit for them last weekend, really about the hand positioning, saying don't necessarily go over the net high, don't reach high, but stay low and tight over the net. These hitters aren't attacking the ball high. They want their hand position to be much better heading into the latter part of this match. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. The always important attention to detail. Meanwhile, tomorrow night, more prep football action coming your way. St. Louis, fresh off of its victory over Bishop Gorman of Nevada last week, takes on Kamehameha live on Spectrum XCast. And Farrington visits Kapolei. That's live on Spectrum XCast 2.
How about the lack of offense in this third set, Kunal? Hawaii hitting .080 and they're up by 6, only because Army's hitting negative 036.
How about that serve by Rasmussen? Great response there by Eckford, and then Horace gets the set in the middle.
What a great scramble play by Army just then.
And Eckford with the quick reaction time. 16 serving 21 in a set that, as you alluded to, C-Mac, has been an offensive battle of attrition. Van Sickle in the middle, up the ladder, and off the hands and out.
How about the digging by both teams? How about Anna Ogilvy with 19 digs so far tonight? That's like amazing. And Brooke Van Sickle with a dozen digs, and Riley Wagner with a dozen digs.
Middle set, and Eckford sends it long, no touch on the Hawaii side. And Van Sickle getting ready to serve once again. 5'9", redshirt junior from Battleground, Washington. Two-hand pass there by Butters. And it's Morris, the heater, off of the southpaw palm.
Morris picks up kill number 8. She's been effective on that right side. When she gets the ball a little bit off the net, when it's tight, she's prone to get blocked.
You'll see a backside. Here's Helbig. Split the uprights of the block. And Hannah Helbig now topping Hawaii offensively with her 8th kill.
And what a nice set from Yosia that time. Good arch back. Gives Helbig a split block, and Helbig takes advantage. You should be thanking Noreen for sure.
So aloha ball for Hawaii in the third. Here's Hana Wahine with the serve. Backside, Morris through the block and down. A steady offensive contributor really since her freshman year. In fact, she was second in the Patriot League as a Frosh, hitting .343. So she's been kind of doing this throughout her Army volleyball career.
You also mentioned she's got a black belt.
Yes, black belt in what undisclosed martial art is the question.
I don't know.
Here's Rasmussen off of one leg. Presley, cross court and in, flat-footed and all.
Jolie Rasmussen wondering why her middle blocker did not go up.
It remains aloha ball. 19 serving 24. Great serve there by Lum. Rasmussen off of 1 foot. Lum on 2 knees with the dig, joust at the net. You'll see it keeps it alive. Bump set from Okino to Wagner. Right there is Ogilvy. Strong took a little something off, so Hawaii now on the attack. Back row set, Van Sickle. Two-handed in the air by Lum, but it'll work as a Hawaii point. And they take set number 3, 25-19. Kyra Hanawahine, a key spark for Hawaii in the third, and they now lead 2-1 and earning every bit of it. Welcome back. You see Hawaii up 2-1 here on the Army Black Knights after dropping the opening frame. Well, we have some Rainbow Warrior football for you this weekend on Saturday. Oregon State taking on Hawaii, coming in 5:15 start time on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view. And then on Sunday, we'll have the final match of this 2019 Heineken Rainbow Wahine Invitational. It'll be the Rainbow Wahine taking on Denver, still unbeaten to start this year. That is a 3:30 start time on Spectrum Sports, Spectrum OC16. And Denver, it should be said, pulling out the 3-set sweep victory over Sacramento State in the first match of this Rainbow Wahine Invitational. Denver looks awfully good. They are 4-0 here to start the season. And Hawaii will get them on Sunday to wrap things up.
And their coach used to be Robin Amo's coach. How about that?
For USA Volleyball.
Exactly. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, Tom Hogan, the head coach for Denver. And people were so awestruck at the fact that there were 2 ranked opponents last week. Obviously, Washington, a name brand opponent, an opponent that Hawaii has had such an up and down history with, right, competitively speaking. And so I think people tend to naturally overlook, all right, next week you have Army, Sacramento State, and Denver, not necessarily the kinds of names that will immediately spark interest. And so people perhaps not aware, these are 3 pretty good teams. In fact, in Denver, you have a team that is really good that's looking to do some damage once again here in 2019. A good start here for Hawaii in set number 4. They've had to scratch and claw. If this were a mixed martial arts match, it would be a ground and pound. It hasn't always been aesthetically pleasing.
How about the digs? 56 digs on both sides. It's 112 digs on the night. We've seen a lot of defense. And that young lady right there,
Yeah.
Anna Ogilvy,
Most of the
20
digs.
Yeah, she's got most of them.
Yeah, she's been exceptional.
Courtney Horace with 9 kills. She and Sydney Morris with both with 9 kills to lead the way for Army West Point.
Patriot League has a chance to be pretty competitive here. Black Knights preseason picked 4th in the league preseason poll. American once again the favorite, followed by Navy and Colgate. But I have a feeling this Black Knight squad will have a few things to say about that preseason ranking as Horace just unloads. Courtney Horace now with 10 kills.
She's hitting for a pretty good number as well. Over 250 anyway. Her team's hitting 085 on the night. Not a good number.
High and away, set goes to Rasmussen, blocked back. Right side, it's Wagner. Looped it over. Easy pickings defensively, but that set perhaps a little ill-conceived. So Wagner gets another crack at it. Good up there by Strong. Horace has to 2-hand it over. Chance for Hawaii. Right side, Wagner again. Solo blocker was up with a dig by Lum. Quick middle goes to Eckford. And Hawaii pops it up, but Williams has to just free ball it over. Eckford a little early on the jump, so Hawaii plays it back. Here's Rasmussen through the block and down.
Once again, another long rally, and the team that's most patient tends to be more successful. That time it was Hawaii.
7 kills now for Rasmussen. 2 serving 1 here in the 4th. Right side. That's Presley dug up nicely there by Choi. How about the bump set by Williams to Rasmussen? They're strong though. And then Eckford in the middle. Too much for Rico Aquino to handle on that sequence. It's 2 serving 2.
Gets back for her 3rd kill on the night.
So Hawaii ranked 20th in the latest AVCA poll by virtue of their 3-0 start last week, knocking off a pair of ranked opponents. Free ball coming here for Army. Outside, that's Horace. Block out a piece, and then it's Williams in the middle. And she was able to put a smashing swing on it. So Hawaii ranked 20th, but it was an interesting set of circumstances because Washington, the team Hawaii beat in the final night of that tournament last week, they're still 16th. And so a lot of people were wondering, hey, look, Washington was 13. Hawaii beat them fairly soundly, may we add. Why would it be that Washington's still ranked above Hawaii? And I think most conclude that
Voters
a lot
have
of
gone
the
to sleep.
voters did not wait to see the conclusion of that match because of the time zone differences and all of that. And, you know, you'd be surprised at how often that happens across the spectrum of sports. That is not an unusual occurrence. Of course, if you ask Robin Amo about it, she says, we don't care about the rankings anyway. As Horace gets another kill in her stat line. Helvig by the double block, but right there is Strong. Morris, cross court and in. That was a thin slice, wrist away. And Army leads for the first time in this 4th set, and some good positive body language coming from the Black Knights.
Yeah, a lot of smiles all around, especially a shot like that. Block was firmly up. Defense could not get set.
Helvig again trying to go cross court, but right at Strong. Morris over the double block and down. And she's got the hot hand. And Army is up a pair.
She's showing she's got some range. She's got that wrist away cross court shot, and she pulls this one down the line.
The crowd trying to turn up the volume knob. Okino with the pass, middle set. Williams, well executed, and that is 10 kills for Skylar Williams.
That's a good percentage as well. Over 360. Rico Okino again giving some stabilization to the passing pattern.
Here's Morris, the block was late. Good dig there, guarding the back line by Wagner. Helvig from off the net, gets it down. And that's kill number 9 for the freshman, Hannah Helvig.
Boy, finally got a dig on Morris. Morris pretty much having her way on that right side.
So Skylar Williams with 10 kills, the lone player in double figures for Hawaii. This is a career night for her offensively. Skylar Williams' previous career high in kills was 8, and she got that a multitude of times previously. But a good touch shot there by Strong. Williams now on the Hawaii bench for the next few rotations. And here's Ogilvy with the serve. Tickles the tape, pass by Okino. That cross to Van Sickle in the middle pays off. So 6 serving 6. High ball, bump set, goes to Strong. Good layout save there, Van Sickle. Wagner! Missed line just wide. Otherwise, she bounced it off of the Terraflex.
She likes that line shot, just did not hit it quite more accurately enough. Robin Amo is saying, hey, keep that ball in play a little more. Make Army dig a few balls.
Middle set, that's Westerberg. Dug up by Butters. Back from the middle position the other way. Hawaii now on the attack. It's Van Sickle picked up by Lum. Outside, Strong, the dink, diving save, Yosia. Free ball coming back Army's way. The slide, Barnhorst, and a net violation called against Hawaii. And a 2-point advantage here for the Black Knights.
Riley Wagner caught up in the net.
Well, here's Nikki Lum. Father was in the Army Reserves. Part of the reason why she had an affinity for this path. And as you see, that one hammered down by Hannah Helvig. How would you describe Hawaii's play tonight? I mean, it has not been particularly sharp, certainly not consistently, but they have been able to will their way to victories in each of the last 2 sets.
I would call it erratic. I would call it at times impatient, trying to do too much rather than play the game as it comes to them.
Wahine with the bump set to Rasmussen. And that was a fireball, but a net violation called against Army. So either way you look at it, it's a point for the Rainbow Wahine.
Finally, Rasmussen again the more she hits into the back 1/3 of the court, the more successful she is.
Strong from off the net. One hand save. Hana Wahine, that was pretty. Van Sickle from the back row. Right there is Lum. Here's Strong again on the outside, going high hands. The save along the back line by Van Sickle. Set goes to Rasmussen. Roll shot. One hand save. Strong. Barnhorst slaps it across. Knuckled back over by Yosia. Army on the attack. The set too wide for Barnhorst on the slide. And a self-inflicted wound that time by the Army Black Knights.
Rare for them to make errors like that. Their setting actually has been pretty good tonight, pretty accurate. But what's really stood out most is their back row digging.
So a 3-0 run here for Hawaii. And Kyra Hana Wahine again sends it long this time, but again providing a little bit of oomph for the Rainbow Wahine at a key moment.
She seems to do it every time, doesn't she? It's almost uncanny.
Yeah, she has a knack. You're right. Allie Strong with the serve. Good pass there by Van Sickle. Slide goes to Westerberg, and she lays the smack down.
See what happens when you get a good pass, get it up there where the setter can run an offense. You get one-on-one situations. People like Van Westerberg get a chance to rip away.
Five kills for Westerberg. She's hitting up around 500. High bump set goes to Horace. Block got a good chunk, and then a little pitter-patter at the net. And Army took advantage. Put down by Barnhorst. So we're tied yet again. Seventh time we've been even Steven here in the fourth set. Williams came swooping in. And Skylar Williams adding to a career evening offensively, C-Mac.
I had a feeling she was going to do this. I watched her practice this week, and she really looked sharp. And even in her interviews, she was sharp. It was almost like she couldn't wait to get back in the gym on Tuesday. And then she was just sharp all week, and just seemed like she was just ready to go and wanted to play tonight. Didn't surprise me she's having a career night.
I think you've seen that from some of the veterans, right? I mean, this group has helped to sort of rejuvenate some of that motivation. Noreen Yosia has talked about it. Skylar Williams, obviously very vocal about it, certainly after last weekend. But couldn't take advantage of the overpass. Oh, that was a nectar.
As soon as we sing her praises, one goes out. I think she was really nervous about going to the cable again or doing something at the net she wasn't supposed to be doing. So she was very conservative there.
Yeah, that was a golden opportunity for Skylar Williams, but she wasn't able to take advantage there.
It looks like Robert Amo was challenging the in-out call. Or maybe a net, not sure.
Yeah, Wayne Lee checking it out. If it's challenging the in-out call, there's not a reason to take a long look at this.
I'm pretty sure this is Robin getting a third timeout. What do you think?
Wayne Lee very quickly confirms the call. That was maybe the least dramatic review we have yet seen.
I think I called that one too, so
yes,
it's 1-1 now?
That's right. That was easy pickings for you. Here's Presley with the serve. Pass Van Sickle. Backside. Rasmussen. Dug up by Strong. It's going to come towards us. Presley able to center it and then punched over by Morris. So Hawaii with the advantage. Van Sickle. Pumped up in the air there by Presley. Here's Horace. Has to just two-hand it over. Diving save Choi. Okino. High ball bump set to Rasmussen. The dink. Little high arcing, so easy to handle. Eckford gets dug up. Van Sickle pushes it deep but long. And it's a point for Army.
Good idea. Court was open, just a little bit too long. Army again playing some great defense.
That was an interesting rally. That was obviously a much closer in-out call. Maybe would have been a better one to challenge if you're Robin Amo, but that last sequence, that looked like a pool volleyball match.
Exactly.
Van Sickle. Rasmussen off the ricochet, gets it down. I mean, Hawaii is having to just work so hard for each and every point, every opportunity.
Yeah, and the scores at the end of the night, Robin Amo is going to look at this match and go, whether she wins or loses, you look at it and go, boy, we had to work so hard every point. And I think that she's got to be a little bit in awe of Army's defense. It really has been playing terrific.
142 digs between these two teams right now. 4 players in double figures in digs on the Hawaii side, 3 on the Army side. Right side, it's Helvig. Dug up to the net by Strong. Williams, that time, made it count.
She extends her career kill record, doesn't she?
Yep, now with 12. And the 4th lead change we have had in this very competitive 4th set. The touch by Morris. She's pushing all the right buttons right now. She's got 12 kills on her side.
Sydney Morris is their highest percentage player coming into this match, hitting .316 on the year. And so she doesn't get a set that she likes. She just pretty much keeps it in play, doesn't hit negative numbers.
Van Sickle dug up by Presley. Here's Morris. Diving save Okino. Middle set Williams. Well, Bailey Choi and Skylar Williams have danced a beautiful dance here so far tonight.
The strategy right now should be when Skylar's in the front row, she's out for 3 rotations now. When she gets back into the front, just feed her. Get a good pass, and she's hot right now. She's playing some good volleyball.
So Hawaii up 14, serving 13, career high 13 kills for Skylar Williams, and Yosia sends it long, trying to work that deep corner. It was one of the things Hawaii did so well against Washington last week, was just serving tough, taking the Huskies out of system. Hasn't been the same case here tonight. Part of that, obviously, the service receiving talents of the Army Black Knights. Timeout on the floor. Well, there's a look at Lieutenant Colonel Rance Lee. He is the officer representative for this Army Black Knights women's volleyball team. Every Army team, when they go on the road to play, have to have an assigned officer representative. Rance just happens to be a University of Hawaii graduate, B, the husband of head coach Alma Kovaci Lee. So a bit of a homecoming, a good circumstance, certainly for the lieutenant colonel. As Hawaii gets the point out of the timeout.
Coach Lee said that he calls Hawaii his second home.
Yep. So he qualifies as an officer representative because he is also the Associate Athletics Admissions Director. And the guy who is by far the best put together here tonight. I mean, he looks wonderful in that uniform.
He really does, doesn't he?
I think catching the wind that he's on the big screen on television, so a little smile for him. Well deserved, and certainly thank you for his service. Delay, middle set goes to Strong. Through the block, kept alive by Okino. High ball set goes to Helvig off the fingertips. Right there is Butters. Morris touches it over. Hawaii with a chance here. Wagner cross court and in. And we're going to have another timeout from the Army Black Knights. Head coach Alma Kovaci-Lee knows that may have been a big one right there. Welcome back. Time now for the Akamai Roofing Report. 58, that's the total number of team blocks for Hawaii this season. That includes tonight. And as mentioned, Angelica Ljungqvist is going to run a lap around the track for every team block this season. They had 49 in weekend number 1 as Van Sickle goes long on the serve. And yes, Coach Ange telling us she did in fact deliver and ran around the track, spread it out over 3 days, ran around the track 49 times. Here's Wagner, the dink, and it works. Great effort by Nikki Lum, but to no avail.
I will tell you this, the 9 blocks tonight will get subtracted on the laps by the 3 blocking errors. So Andrew will only have to do 6 laps right now. She'll be happy about that. No, she actually wants to run more. She needs to get in shape, she said, so she's okay. The more blocks, the better.
She's going to be in great shape by the end of this one, if this keeps up. Middle set, good block there by Westerberg on the swing by Presley. Westerberg on the slide, the touch shot. Presley from her knees keeps it alive. And then nobody came up with that third touch. And so some unusual disarray on the Army side of the net. That's a 5-1 run now being enjoyed by the Rainbow Wahine, and it looks like Alma Kovaci-Lee is going to utilize her final timeout.
And that was very unusual to see that disarray. As you said, Camille, they've been so disciplined, especially in their defensive assignments in the back row. And they've been terrific in long rallies, really patient and disciplined. But that time looked to me like maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in. What do you think?
Could be, and I think feeling like things are unraveling just a bit, and this is obviously a key position for Hawaii to be in here if they're looking to close this out in 4. Well, Sydney Morris has been the leader offensively for Army, a solid contributor offensively really all her career, but now 12 kills tonight, hitting a .189. On the other side, well, make that Courtney Horace with 11 kills, hitting .267. So those two with double figures in kills to lead Army West Point. And then on the other side, Skylar Williams, the career night C-Mac.
Well, she's having a terrific night. 13 kills, hitting .435, only making 3 errors. She's got 4 blocks as well, and a smile that'll light up the room.
Yeah, she has been oh so effective. And like you said, the effervescence of a happy camper.
She's a great interviewer too as well. Great interview. Really articulate, thoughtful.
Also helps that she touches 10 feet.
Yeah.
Slide. Barnhorst blocked back. Hawaii now with the advantage. Step out to Westerberg off the block and down. So, as locked in as Choi and Williams have been, sort of as that setter, middle hitter battery, Yosia and that slide to Westerberg's been pretty precise as well as of late.
Yeah, Hawaii's starting to flex their muscles a little bit right now, becoming more aggressive at the net.
Good serve by Hana Wahine. She's been on the money. Strong, dug up by Van Sickle. Here's Rasmussen, bringing the thunder.
Did I say muscles? Yeah, there's another example. And Van Sickle, who's having a subpar night as far as her kills per center are concerned. She's only got like 8 on the night, but she delivers when it matters.
4 straight points for Hawaii, but that run ends abruptly. Thanks to Ali Strong.
Strong with her 8th kill of the night. Let's try to put that ball down the line, see where the block was located. Block was across court, so she just brought it back down the line. Great shot. Good vision.
And it is strong with the serve. Just got it above the tape. Westerberg off the block. Good cover there by Presley. Back row set goes to Strong. Block got a piece. So the high ball goes to Rasmussen over the double block. Right there is Ogilvie. Yet another dig for her. Well, the set mistimed on the Army side. So Yosia goes backside. That was misfired. Wagner got that one almost spit back at her, but then finally Horace goes into the net. And it's a point for Hawaii. Again, not how you draw it up.
And Van Sickle, what a dig she had. She had 2 digs that rally. One was a straight shot she took with no block up. She just hung in there and popped it up. Brooke with now 17 digs to lead all Rainbow Wahine. And she'll wipe up the floor too. She does it all.
That's right. I mean, she wore the libero jersey throughout portions of her Oregon stint. So she can play some defense. That's a known. And that one gets over the net, but they'll say it was wide of the antenna. And I think we're going to get a challenge here. No timeouts left for Alma Kovaci Lee.
I think I have a 20/20 vision, but I'm putting this back.
Coach Lee telling Wayne Lee, I think I have 20/20 vision, but we'll find out. So I think they're going to challenge whether or not that ball, in fact, was outside the pin. It was a tough angle for sure.
This might be hard to get a view on. It's really hard to tell. It looks like it goes right over the antenna, but that's a difficult angle there.
It's worth it for a challenge, though, right? No timeouts left for Army. Hawaii closing in here. You can't take them home with you.
I like the way the linesperson moved over to his left to get a better view of it rather than just staying in the corner there. He moved over to make sure he saw that ball where it was going, and that he's thought for sure that it was going either outside the antenna or over the top of the antenna. That's the best view.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So I want to take the lead on the challenges, so I'm going to say that this call stands.
All right.
Up 2-1. Not that anybody's keeping score at home.
Yes.
There could be somebody though.
The least interesting competition that's taking place here.
Your dad might be keeping score. Who knows?
He was in the gym, right, guys?
It was worth the challenge, and I'll tell you what, it was too close to call, and I think just too close to overturn is basically the definition at the end of the day. Good dig there by Choi. So Williams doing a little bit of everything tonight, including logging the assist to Riley Wagner. And they rise here at the SSC. A gutsy Army team pushing Hawaii and taking set 1 and forcing the Rainbow Wahine to do a gut check of their own. Outside, here's Horace off the block. Right there is Okino. So Choi, middle set to Williams. Army playing it back the other way, and swiping at it was Barnhorst. And they will remain standing for a few extra moments. It remains Aloha ball. Okino. Hawaii way out of system. Van Sickle sends it long, and they'll try it again.
And the confusion there, Army not going down without a good fight for sure. Tough serve.
And once more, Aloha ball. Pass by Wagner, tight to the net. One hand set to Williams, but they're going to say that Choi lifted it. And that's the second time we've seen a Hawaii setter, 2 very experienced setters, mind you, getting called for a lift on that one-handed set. One went to Yosia, and that time it was Bailey Choi, and Robin Amo signaling for a timeout. She wants to see her team finish this job.
I think she wants to see them finish with a bang and not a whimper. She wants to see them go out fighting and in system running a play, possibly looking sharp as opposed to any kind of sloppy play.
Well, night one of the Heineken Rainbow Wahine Invitational. Make sure you stay tuned right after the match for the Heineken postgame show. You can join Scott, Lisa, and Ryan in the corner crew for insight, highlights, analysis. Usually they corral a player for an interview as well, so you don't want to change the channel. Much more to break down here after this one does finish, whenever that may be. Got to give a lot of credit to this Army squad, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Coach Lee really had them ready, don't you think?
Absolutely. And they had Hawaii scouted, it seemed, to a T. Their defensive configuration.
Exactly.
They were ready to go. As you would expect, a disciplined Army Black Knights squad. But still, they're on the ropes. It will be aloha ball in Hawaii's favor here. 19 serving 24. And how about Alma Kobachi Lee still coaching her team up at the very last moment, as is Robin Amo on the other side. With the crowd to their feet again. And the serve goes long. And Hawaii wins it in 4. Nothing.
They escape in 4.
If that is possible, they do. Nothing on this night came easy for the Rainbow Wahine, and yet at the end of it all, they improved to 4-0 on the year.
Yeah, you can't take that away from them, that they will be 4-0, but certainly that shows that Hawaii has a few Achilles heels going on when they play a team like Army, a scrappy team that keeps the ball coming back, and tested Hawaii's patience, tested Hawaii's hitters and their shot selection, and I think that it was a good lesson for Hawaii, I think, to find out what they need to do better.
How about the defense played in this match? 158 combined digs. You had 4 players in double figures for the Rainbow Wahine, including Brooke Van Sickle, who had 19. And then on the other side, 3 players, make that 4 players in double figures for Army, including 21 for Anna Ogilvie. So, hey, look, a match that maybe only a mother could love, but at the end of the night, a win is a win for Hawaii. Scott Robbs is with Robin Amo.
All right, thanks a lot, Kanoa. Well, Coach, it wasn't the prettiest of matches, but you got the W.
That's all I want. Yeah, that's what we said there. I was like, hey, let's just make this short. We got the W. Let's just look for tomorrow.
You guys obviously struggled, didn't play your best tonight. How much do you think is the team still trying to learn to play with one another?
Oh, no, that's just effort. That's just effort, you know? Like the moves in the beginning of the match, it's just like nobody calling for balls. Nobody wants to make crisp moves, strong moves on any ball versus hitting, setting, passing, everything. And we just talked about that inside. That was our game plan.
I'm sure they'll show more effort tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, Robin.
Oh, after the practice we're going to have, yeah. Nah, I'm just joking.
Guys, back over to you.
You know what? We were all believing it for sure. Robin Amo improving to 4-0 with her Rainbow Wahine squad. Bank of Hawaii presenting the players of the match. We mentioned Ogilvie in a homecoming for her, the Iolani alum. A match-high 21 kills to go along with 2 assists. She was phenomenal. And Skylar Williams, career-high 13 put-downs, hitting .417 with 4 blocks. And how about an assist on top of that? All right, C-Mac, I'll give you the final word here on what transpired here tonight as Robin Amo decides to rip up the box score. Forget the numbers. They got the win. It's time to focus on tomorrow, she says. But I'll give you the last thought here on what you saw on the floor from Hawaii's side of the net.
On Hawaii's side of the net, I saw some impatience. I saw the attackers maybe taking some shots they shouldn't have because they were trying to avoid that great Army defense, and you can't blame them for that. And I think that you'll see tomorrow, I think you'll see a much crisper, sharper team that'll play. They'll take no prisoners. They'll just get out there and play the way I think that Robin Amo wanted them to play tonight. I think they'll play that way tomorrow.
They can take solace in the fact that they certainly did not have their A game. It may not have even been Hawaii's B game going up against a quality opponent, and yet they still were able to pull it out in 4. Now, much of that, we have to once again repeat, was because of the effort put forth by the Army Black Knights, the effort and the discipline there. And I think Robin Amo probably wishes some of that was a little bit more apparent on her team's side of the net. But at the end of the night, Hawaii 4-0 for the first time since 2015. All right, tomorrow night it will be Sacramento State's turn to take a crack at the 20th ranked team in the country. We'll have that for you. But don't forget about the post-game show. Scott, Lisa, and Ryan bringing you the breakdown of tonight's match. But for now, for Chris McLaughlin, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Until tomorrow, everybody, aloha from the Stan Sheriff Center.
Highlights Hawaii and Army. We start off with the local girl, Ana Ogilvie out of Iolani. The libero was spectacular with the dig-em-ups, as she had 22 digs to lead the way. Courtney Horst wasn't too shabby herself, as she put down a number of kills for the Army Black Knights. There you see her in the middle of the net for Hawaii Balaki. And that was the story last weekend. Maybe not as dominant tonight as last weekend, but still pretty darn good, as Hawaii came away with 9 blocks on the evening. And how about the reigning National Player of the Week, Jolie Rasmussen? A little quiet tonight, 10 kills to go along with 10 digs, but only hit a .58. But part of that had to do with the fact that Army was well aware of the outstanding hitting of Jolie Rasmussen. So somebody else had to step up, and that young lady right there, Skylar Williams, did. She had a career night in terms of kills. She had 13 kills on the night, hit over 400 on the evening, as she helped Hawaii get the 4-set victory over the Black Knights of Army West Point.
From Spectrum Sports, it's the Heineken Post-Game Show.
Hi, everybody. Scott, Lisa, Ryan. Thanks for sticking around for the Heineken post-match show. And, guys, it was ugly. I mean, it really was. You got to be honest. But they got the job done. I guess that's the bottom line.
Well, it wasn't as crisp as last weekend, of course, but I wouldn't say that it was ugly. I thought there were some bright points, definitely. Game 1, they were a little slow to start. The passing broke down. Everything broke down, and they gave up that game. But they did come back, and the coaching staff made some great adjustments, I thought. And a win is a win when you really break it down.
Well, I think we also have to remember that this is a team that at times will have 4 freshmen on the court at the same time. So there's going to be a lot of experience. You kind of have to anticipate sort of this roller coaster that we saw tonight. I think more than anything else, the thing that Hawaii has got to remember to do is be patient. Sometimes when in the midst of that long rally, and when you have a libero like Ogilvie who is just seemingly digging up everything, hitters can often get frustrated. And that comes with maturity. These hitters have got to learn how to hit other shots. They can't keep going to the same cross court and expecting the same outcome. They have to hit high hands. They also have to be patient. So this is a good learning opportunity for this team, because this is something that will continue on, and I think we're going to see a lot of these games. Last week we called them Cardiac Keiki 2.0 because we could be going 4 and 5 every night. So far, it's true to form.
When you talk about being patient, explain what you mean.
Well, I think oftentimes when you are being dug multiple times in a rally, hitters get frustrated. So you tend to hit shots that aren't in your range or uncharacteristic. So you have to be able to play defense as well as transition and hit a shot that might not get you a kill, but will put the team in trouble and allow your defense to play around that.
I think you have to give a ton of credit to Army, because they made Hawaii really work hard. They made it kind of ugly, if you will, to their advantage. And somebody said, I'm really surprised. I said, well, you got to remember, these are cadets in the United States Military Academy. They're not going to give up. They're going to give 100%, and that's what they did.
Yeah, they're not going to break. They've been trained very well, obviously, coached very well. And they came into this arena tonight with absolutely nothing to lose, and playing here in the Stan Sheriff in front of probably more fans than they ever have, coming in with a 3-0 record. So they came in confident, and when watching them in warm-up, they're very undersized compared to UH. I mean, their tallest player is like 6 feet at the highest. So, this team, you've got to give them a lot of credit.
I think one of the things that Hawaii was able to do was to diversify their offense. We saw towards the ending of the match how Westerberg was going off of 1 foot and hitting those slides. She was finding success going slide, and this is difficult in a 3-hitter rotation. Hawaii now going in that 6-2 modified offense where you're not in a 5-1, and the setter sometimes, as we take a look at some of her highlights here, whenever you have 3 attackers and your middle is going for a slide like right here, you're going to have to run a crossing play. So your right side blocker has got to be communicative at being able to commit on that X play or hitting a back one. So this is something that has just sort of been incorporated in this past match. We didn't see a lot of the slide last weekend. The more that they run this slide, they're going to have the right side have a different route, because at times the right side just kind of got lost because they were letting the middle attack. So these are little things that Hawaii has got to figure out a way to fine tune. But credit to Westerberg, she did a nice job going off of 1 foot.
Well, let's take a look at the final numbers from this evening's 4-setter. It's brought to you by Levitt, Yamani, and Zolder, and there they are, guys.
Well, straight out, the biggest thing that Chris and Kanoa were talking about earlier tonight was the amount of digs. When you add that together, those are scary numbers. Both teams playing incredible defense. And Hawaii, the blocking, unfortunately, not as strong as it had been.
Yeah, not as strong, and the hitting percentage still 213. I think that's a pretty good number. I thought it was actually a lot lower. It was, just because of the amount of attempts that this team was taking. I mean, 169 attempts. A lot of balls were being swung at tonight. Some of them, a lot of times the players, you could say, they weren't even jumping. They were kind of flat-footed on the ground, just kind of overhead hitting it, just because there wasn't the sets and there wasn't a lot of tempo or offense at times.
I'll say this, if you're coming out tomorrow night to watch Hawaii Sac State, come a little earlier, because I think that Denver Army matchup, that could be pretty darn exciting, couldn't it?
It might be another one like tonight with a lot of digs.
It might go 5, who knows? Alrighty, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have more from the corner as Hawaii runs their record to 4-0.
Welcome back to the Heineken Post-Game Show.
Back in the corner, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Rainbow Wahine. Tomorrow night, right back at it at 7 o'clock, 6:30 game on UH and Sacramento State. Then Sunday, a 4 o'clock first serve, so that means 3:30 in the afternoon with game on Hawaii taking on Denver. And then next weekend, another tournament, West Virginia and Reed Sunohara, the head coach there, Utah Valley, and then Mike Seeley's UCLA Bruins. So Hawaii got through tonight. I think all three of us expect them to play much better tomorrow night against Sac State.
Well, I think it's hard because we have these expectations, and they started out with such a strong showing. And the coaching staff also has high expectations. They know what this team is capable of. It's just a matter of getting them consistent and being level every time they come out and play.
Yeah, and I think we saw some bright spots from a few players here tonight. I mean, you look at Brooke Van Sickle, she may have only hit, a little over 100, but she had 20 digs tonight. So she really did a nice job of stabilizing that defense. So I think one of the bright spots for Hawaii is that there were moments where players were able to step up in different areas. Skylar Women's, again, had a great night offensively. So this team does have those sparks of brilliance in certain areas. It's just a matter of getting them consistently doing everything they're supposed to do at the same time, like we saw last week.
We talk about the youth of this team. One of the Keiki will join us in the corner when we come back. The outside hitter from Ohio, Riley Wagner.
Welcome back to the Heineken Post-Game Show.
And we are back. As you see, Hawaii there with the cross-court shot takes the victory over the Army in 4, led by Riley Wagner, who joins us here in the corner. 8 kills, 14 digs. First off, welcome to the corner.
Thank you.
Talk about tonight's match, because last weekend you guys were sky high. You had 2 nationally ranked teams. Tonight, kind of sloppy. I mean, I guess maybe expected because not the same level of play.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to play against these, not as lower, but just not as, fast pace, and you have to be really into the game, and I just don't think we were as focused as we should have been. We could have played a lot better, and we just needed to clean up a lot of things and just play more together and more excited.
How much was it of Army, though? Because I thought they played really well, and particularly
they did.
digging up all your guys' shots.
They were digging everything, and it was definitely really frustrating just to not have the balls that normally are hitting the floor have those kills. But we just kept at it, and I think it's really good for us to see teams like this, so we get to figure out different ways to score and stuff like that.
Not to change the subject on you, but I want a viewing audience to know what drew you here to Hawaii. You had other opportunities. Why Hawaii?
So when I was little, I actually came here on vacation, and I absolutely loved it. I never wanted to leave. So it's been like a joke pretty much that I came here to college because my family was like, oh, like you're gonna go to Hawaii. Like that's like crazy to think about. And then it actually came true. So dream comes true, basically.
Going back to the court this year, we're seeing a much different offense. There were times where you were playing a multitude of positions, now sort of locking in on this four-hitter rotation. How difficult is that playing in this kind of non-traditional? Because you're playing left, you're playing right, you're playing left back, you're playing middle back. I mean, talk about the changes and the adjustments you've had to make because of this new sort of rotation.
It's definitely an adjustment. I think we just have so many good players that it's really nice that we can get to mix up, and if somebody's having an off day, we can switch something and hopefully make it better for the whole team. And we are all okay with that, so it's just really nice to have those options.
It's kind of amazing to me that there are 9 new players, 5 freshmen, you're one of them, and how quickly you guys have kind of gelled. The chemistry seems to be really good on this team.
Yeah, we're all really close friends on and off the court, so I think that really helps. Yeah.
Did you actually expect, I mean, nobody really truly expects to come in as a freshman and play as much as you have. You've been on the court every single game.
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting that.
You're like the player that I call the humectant. I don't know if you know the understanding of that word. You're kind of like the glue. You do a lot of the little things that go unnoticed. You don't get the high kills. You're not leading the team all the time in kills or blocks, but you do the little things that change the game.
Yeah. It's definitely those things that are going to make the difference in the end. So I just try to pick up on the stuff that other people aren't necessarily doing all the time.
Looking ahead to tomorrow night, obviously, there's no ranked opponents this weekend. What is sort of the mentality going in to tomorrow night and Sunday's matchup after what we saw maybe here tonight as well?
We definitely just need to have fun and trust in what we are and what we can be. So I just think we need to have more fun and play better, hopefully.
Okay, Ohio is much different than Hawaii, except for there's an H and an I in both, right? Somebody asked me to ask you about what you're wearing on your feet right now. What do you call those? We'll find out how.
Okay,
local
I
you are.
call them flip-flops, but I know they're called slippers here.
Nice try.
Give her
So
4
did she-
years.
did
Maybe
she-
even next 2 years she'll get that right.
Yeah, slippers.
Yes,
There's no
slippers.
go-aheads, flip-flops.
Yeah.
There's slippers.
Slippers.
You'll get it.
I'm slowly changing.
There you go. For the better.
For the better, definitely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Continued success, and we'll have you back on the post-game show again, I'm sure.
Thank you.
All right, Riley Wagner, outstanding performance tonight as Hawaii downs the West Point Army Black Knights. Tomorrow night at Sac State, 6:30 game on, 7 o'clock first serve. I'll wrap things up for us here this evening. Special thanks for outstanding Spectrum Sports crew, for Riley, for Ryan, for Lisa. I'm Scott. Until tomorrow night, we bid you aloha and a good evening from the Stand Sheriff Center in Manoa.